What is up guys, it is Aim and Muncher here, and today we're doing a little bit of a different video here. So because I need more time to do my usual dopamine inducing content, I am going to be doing a tier list of every single feature in 2024 that Sea of Thieves has released. It's going to include every specific feature, including the plunder passes, and then at the very end I'll do my overview of each season. So make sure to stay until the end, and also make sure to comment if you like this content, because I've never really done this before. So first up, we have the traps from season 14. Now honestly, I've never actually used these traps properly. I've only used them for the commendations, but they are just awful. You know, I'm never going to use these in game and real life scenarios. The only way I'd use them is if I would put them on like a ladder when people were boarding my ship, and so they can get blunder bombed off, but they can just reboard in a second and they can also see it. So yeah, they're useless. They're shit. Alright, second we have Merfruit, another season 14 feature. Now once you cook this, your mermaid disappears for I think it's about 2 minutes, which is so good for tucking. It's the most perfect thing that they thought of. I'm so surprised they actually thought of this. I reckon that's an A tier right there. It's not S tier because obviously if you want to use your mermaid bite and you accidentally eat this, you just have to wait 2 minutes, but any other point it's good to put that in A tier. Now we have the cheeky Horn of Fear wins. Now this came out in the season 12 update, and at the start it was super rare to find. It would take me about 5 hours every single time just to find one, as they weren't guaranteed in shrines and you could maybe find them washed up, but they were super rare. But then I think it was season 13 they actually made them super common, which is super good. You know, I can go fast in water on rowboats for tucking. I can shoot them in the wind of my sails to speed up if I'm chasing someone, even running. It's just such a good feature, as well as obviously blowing people off the ship and hitting some crazy snipes. So that is going in A tier. I would have put it in B tier if they hadn't updated the spawns, but now that they're super common, I do really like them. Alright, next up we have the kind of traversing on Harpoons, which came out in season 12 again. Now this is a Sea of Thieves feature that feels like it's been in the game forever, but it's only been in the game for like less than a year. And I think it's a perfect feature, being able to walk across the Harpoon with loot and also just walking across to make it super easy to access islands without having to go on your ladder is super useful. And it's also really effective when you're trying to slide down and get to your boat fast. So I'm definitely gonna put this at A tier, probably in the middle right here. Now next is kind of a little random one to spice it up. We have the season 13 plunder pass. So season 13 obviously had the burning blade and stuff, so they kind of made this all like a fire version. And with that we had this pretty cool demon outfit, pretty cool sails, pretty cool ship set, just a solid plunder pass. So I'm gonna put that at top of B tier so far. Next we have probably the best weapon they added this year, and that is the throwing knives. When you throw them and hit, it does so much damage. The shank down does so much as well, and the stabbing is kind of mid, to be honest, but overall this is an S tier weapon. It's so good. Oh, I can't go next step. Why can't I go next step? There we go. Next we have another weapon, but this was added in season 14, is the Grapple gun. Now the Grapple gun could be the best weapon in the game, but Sea of Thieves just had to fucking muck it up so badly. The range on this is awful. It only has limited shots, and even when you miss with the Harpoon gun, it uses ammo. Like, that just makes no sense whatsoever. And you can't even board sloop and brigantines with it. You can only board galleons. And galleons already have so much against them. I mean, they're super hard to manage. Their sails go down in ages. The anchor takes so much time to put up, and you have to run a marathon just to scoop one bucket out. And so with the Harpoon gun only being able to board galleons, it makes it super overpowered for that. But for everything else, it's super terrible. So I'm going to put it B tier. Now next we have the Blade of Souls, which is gotten by defeating the Burning Blade. Technically it doesn't take up a weapon slot, so you can have 2 other weapons, but you can't swap these weapons by wielding the sword. I do like though that it does fire damage, and it does a lot more damage than the sword, especially that you can run with it and you can sword dash. So I'm going to put this at top of B tier, I reckon. Next we have the Blowpipe, which I think is just such an underrated weapon. The different abilities of the blow darts is such a unique feature that Sea of Thieves has added, and all of them play really well. The poison dart's probably the worst, as it does damage over the time and people can just continuously eat. But apart from that, the gunpowder one blowing people up is crazy with the damage, and you can even find tuckers on your boat just by using this dart. And the lure dart is actually probably my favorite, as you can lure skeletons onto people, you can lure skeletons onto each other. And if you're in a sticky situation, you can always just chuck down a lure dart and they'll run to it and you can get out safely. For PvE this is. For PvP, the lure dart is not very good. But overall, I'm going to put this top of A tier. Also forgot to mention the Mimic Dart, which is coming, which I reckon once the Mimic Dart comes, it's going to be S tier, but for the meantime, I can't bring it down. For the meantime, it's going to be A tier. Alright, next up we have the skeleton camps, which are added in season 13 at random islands. These are kind of like a mixture of the skeleton forts and the sea forts you find around the map, as you can activate them by yourself and they're kind of like a world event. And overall I feel like these are pretty good. I mean, they're only really useful when using the burning blade, but the loot you get from them anyways is actually pretty good. So I'm gonna put this in, I'll put it bottom of A tier because you can sell it to every single trading company, which is really good for reputation. Alright, next up we have the season 12 plunder pass. Now honestly this was pretty forgettable. The only really thing that I liked about this plunder pass is the stone curse, and I feel like it's still one of the best curses in the game, but I feel like they shouldn't put curses behind paywalls, and you should always have them behind hard to earn cosmetics, and for that I'm gonna put it in C tier. The rest of the stuff is just kind of mid. Next up we probably have the best feature added this year, and that is the disguises. The fact that you can hide in chests to blend up with people's loot is crazy. And I love the feature that if you do more commendations you can unlock different types of chests, which makes it super fun to tuck on people and gives you something to work towards to unlock all of the disguises, and for that I'm putting them in S tier, as well as the fact that basically nobody checks their chests. Alright, next we have the burning blade, which was kind of just the main thing added in season 13, and honestly this could have so many improvements and could be so much better. Like, I love that the skeletons help you so you don't have to repair, and it shoots forward, which is the first ship to finally do that in Sea of Thieves. But once you overtake the burning blade, the only real thing to do is to do the skeleton camps. You can't do any quests, you can't alliance, the only emissary you can have up is reapers. It's just really boring unless you want to do the skeleton camps, and skeleton camps become super repetitive. Like, it's super fun doing PvP fights with it, but the fact that the whole server won't have a world event just because you've claimed this is crazy, meaning you can't even do world events on this. Like, if they were to make it so you can alliance with people, you can do quests on this, and other world events would be up at the same time after you claim this, I feel like this would be so much better, but for the meantime I'm putting it in B tier. Next up we have another season 14, which is hanging off ships. Now when I first saw this I thought this was so stupid. I mean, you're obviously going to see somebody hanging on your ship, but after I've done this multiple times in game, nobody checks it. I can be hiding on somebody's boat for 20 minutes and they wouldn't see me, and it's such a good way to hide on people's ships that people won't expect, and for that I'm gonna put it in A tier. Next up we have the double barrel pistol, and honestly this is just so mid. I mean, hitting 2 of these shots doesn't even kill a player, and the reload time takes so long when reloading both at the same time, and it's only really good for doing skeleton forts in PvE, so for that I'm chucking it in C tier. Now next we have bone crawlers, which actually got a massive buff due to the fact that you could just exploit millions of them. Luckily that's patched now, but when that was an exploit that was super fun to do. And overall bone crawlers are super overpowered, and they win me so many fights, especially in Hourglass when they're struggling to repair and bucket, and I chuck on some skeletons and I can have a free board on their ship and kill them. It's just such a good feature. This is going in S tier. Alright, next we have the Scattershots, which are honestly, okay, I don't even know what to say. These are so bad. Like, you have to be right next to the ship to use them, as their range is terrible. And they only do tier 1 holes on the ship. It's honestly so bad. The only really thing I use them for is when I'm close and need to get someone's mast down. They're basically a guaranteed hit that you're going to hit their mast once, so if you use a chain shot, that's an easy mast down. But honestly, these are going bottom of C tier. They're so terrible. Next up we have the zip lines on kind of islands and stuff. The only really time I use this is doing Fort of the Damned or like on Ancient Spire Outpost when you slide down. Honestly, this is a feature that Sea of Thieves always should have had. I don't know why they just released it, but it's just going in B tier. Like, there's nothing special about it. It's just kind of mid. And now we come to each season of this year. We have season 12, season 13, and season 14. Now season 12, although it had some good features, especially these two up here in S tier, all the other features are going at the bottom. Apart from the Horn of Fair Winds, I mean, it was just such a mid-season. They added barely anything and it was so boring. The only redeeming factor was that the Chest of Fortune was in the Fort of Fortune, which is where the chest should always be, and it made for some crazy fights. But honestly, this is a C season, bro. It was so bad. Next we have season 13, and season 13 basically added nothing. I mean, we have the Burning Blade, the Blade of Souls, the Plunder Pass. That's basically it. They added nothing, as well as the skeleton camps. But honestly, this is going B tier, bro. It was fun for a bit, but now everything in that season I don't even use anymore. And lastly, we have season 14, which we're currently right in. Now season 14 had a shocker of a start. It was horrendous. Every single feature had been delayed, but now that they're all in the game, I can tell you it's so fun. And we get to look forward to the Mimic Dark coming soon as well, so for that, I'm putting this season in A tier. So here is the final tier list, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed. The next videos coming out on the channel are going to be absolute bangers. That's why I had to make this, so I could have more time to edit them. But if you enjoy this type of content and want to watch more, chuck us a cheeky comment saying you liked it, and if you want, you can subscribe as well, and chuck us a cheeky like as well. But anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next one, eh?